Good afternoon, my fellow Nigerians. First, I thank everyone for observing the directives to cease campaigning in honor of the victims of the Lagos accident. May God grant the souls of the departed a peaceful repose. Amen. As we resume preparation for the elections on Saturday, the 18th of March, we're calling for voter apathy to be reversed and for everyone to come out and vote. By virtue of the opportunity afforded by the postponement, we are now calling on the candidates themselves to come out to talk to us. Let us know their credentials, let us know their manifestos. Campaign thus far has been dominated by mudslinging, numerous allegations, and counter allegations. I would argue that the Labour campaign, particularly, has been camouflaged with arousing emotional sentiments rather than substance. The Labour campaign in Lagos has been dominated by anecdotal allegations of hate, threat, aggression, oppression, and other adjectives engrossed with endearing sentiments, with no concrete evidence to support such claims. This has totally overridden the expected priority of sharing their manifestos as the primary basis for election. As we have the benefit of a few more days due to the postponement to the 18th of March, the people of Lagos request that all three parties must focus on issues based campaign. We need to move away from unproductive debates about tribe or ethnicity and just take it in good faith that all the candidates qualify as their respective parties' flag bearers. They should now focus on sharing their manifestos, as this would serve as their pledge, their contract with the people of Lagos. They should share details of their priorities when in office with compelling statements and not abstract, imaginative ideologies. We want to know more about their experience, what they are bringing to the table to convince us that they have the capacity and the capability to deliver their propositions. Lagos is a unique economy like no other in Nigeria and the fifth largest in Africa. We want them to demonstrate to us that they truly understand the economics of Lagos, that they have a snapshot of the Lagos economy today and how they will sustain and build on it so that they won't take us backwards. They need to tell us how they will showcase the values, the culture, and the heritage of Lagos. What will they do to preserve its culture despite its cosmopolitan attributes without giving room to diluting this culture? We demand to know what structure or ideologies that they are planning to introduce and how and when they will sensitize such plans with the indigenes of Lagos to assure their hospitality to white visitors will not deplete their own values and culture. I would like to see all three candidates avail themselves to the people of Lagos so we can really get to know them better before entrusting them with the jewel in Nigeria's crown. With the exception of the incumbents, Sanwo-Olu and Hamzat, the other candidates are totally new to the political landscape, so we need to know more about them, their antecedents, their objectives, and how they intend to engage and serve the interests of the people of Lagos, particularly its indigenes and its traditional rulers. I would like to see all three candidates stand up to scrutiny, akin to that the presidential candidates were subjected to, particularly Tinubu. We need the candidates to engage with us and answer some critical questions that will enable us to make informed decisions. For example, for the PDP, first of all, is Jandor still the elected candidate, as we've not seen him on the campaign trails for some time? If so, he needs to come out to talk to Lagosians and let us know more about him and what he plans to do for Lagos. For the APC, as incumbent, Sawoli has been on display for the past 4 years, so we already know him. His track record and antecedents speak for him. He already has the benefit of knowledge and experience of running the Lagos economy, so no doubt he knows where we are. Notwithstanding, there's an overwhelming cry for change, stemming from the leadership culture rather than issues of performance or capability. So he needs to also tell us what he's going to do differently to engage with the people and ensure that every segment of our society has a voice. How will the will of the people be incorporated into his future activities? Clearly, the continuity of Sanwo-Olu also brings the exponential benefit of being aligned to an APC federal government. This is a highly significant disposition, given everything the APC government has achieved in Lagos to date has been despite its ostracization at federal level for the past 24 years. So it's reasonable to expect their future attainments to be amplified with an APC federal government and a commander-in-chief who is widely reputed to be the godfather of Lagos at the helms of affairs. So really, we need to ask ourselves, could the gains from our exploration for change possibly ever outweigh the great prospect Lagos stands to gain from its alignment with federal level at this time? I think this is the most fundamental question Lagosians need to ask themselves when they go to the polls on the 18th. This is where a protest vote in the presidential election differs significantly from a progress vote in the gubernatorial elections. And for the Labour Party, do we have certainty of the flag bearer is for the Labour Party, given the recent debates and disputes on whether the supposed candidate gbadebo met INEC criteria for eligibility, due to the fact that he joined the party merely a few weeks before the primaries, after deflecting from the PDP following disputes with Jandor. If gbadebo is the confirmed candidate, we need to know more about his competency for the job and his antecedents. We need to be assured that his primary aim is to serve the interests of the people of Lagos as a professed indigene of Lagos. And the Lagos State Governor's seat will not be used to serve any other platform. He needs to explain what is driving the repeated assertion by Labour Party leaders, including its principal, Peter Obi, that Lagos is not negotiable and that the party must acquire it at all costs. That is very worrying for Lagosians. We saw evidence of these assertions being made in campaigns in other states outside Lagos. So can he explain how plans being made for Lagos in other states will serve in the interests of Lagosians? He needs to come and clarify his involvement during the NSAS campaign, which exhibited deplorable, disgraceful hooliganism of a tremendous scale, causing chaos and massive disruption and losses to the livelihoods to many ordinary residents of Lagos. Given the evidence of his involvement in the NSAS hooliganism, does gbadebo believe it is appropriate for him to now be seeking to govern the very people he participated in destroying their homes and businesses? Does his activities during this youth protest validate his maturity to hold the seat of governor in any state? And I still want to understand, who determined the areas that were attacked and disrupted extensively during NSAS? Because these were not areas that aligned to any conflict with government. These were honorary areas of honorary citizens. So were any of the areas traditionally occupied by Igbos destroyed? Were there any losses or disruption recorded in Alaba, in Computer Village in Amuwo? If not, it would then be fair to highlight that the NSAS protest was very selective and mainly to the detriment of Yoruba residents in Lagos by targeting areas like Bode Thomas. So Yoruba youths partaking in that protest were unwittingly led to go and burn down their own mothers' and fathers' homes and businesses. whilst the assets of Igbos were ring-fenced. Does this not confirm the assertion that the NSAS protest had colour beyond a youth movement? So essentially, Lagos youths were unsuspectingly used to propagate a disguised Igbo cause. Lagos residents must not forget the horrors and losses of the NSAS hooliganism, which cannot be justified under any circumstances. Perhaps voters should also be reminded that the act of hooliganism that accompanied NSAS is substantially contributory to the discord, the disharmony between Lagos government and the youths. The Labour Party agitation to date is largely suggested that they are the choice of the people of Lagos, but are being bullied by Lagos youths or Agbero, allegedly acting for APC and thereby contravening democracy. If that's the case, on the basis of substantive evidence that shows Labour Party registering Lagos non-residents of Lagos to come into Lagos, we've seen videos going viral, of convoys of vehicles coming into Lagos to vote. So, what proportion of these voters are genuine Lagos residents? Is their strategy of migrating non-residents to come and vote in Lagos itself not gross democratic fraud that has not been seen anywhere else in these elections? Gbadebo's deputy, Islamia Toyefusi, alleged during an, I think it was Arise TV interview, that there were attempts to prevent them from entering some markets and traders had been instructed not to engage with their campaigning. Do other parties have access freely in the Labour stronghold areas and markets such as Alaba, Trade Fair, Computer Village? Do APC and all the other parties, PDP candidates, do they get to go and campaign freely in those areas? Are other parties received with compassion in Labour's strongholds in Lagos? Or should they also be shouting they suffered hate, aggression, threats, such that has dominated the Labour Party campaign to endear sympathy? Are non-Labour Party support traders within these markets able to express themselves freely? Or are they also subjected to threat, aggression, and marginalized treatments for not supporting the Labour Party? Do you feel a fair and democratic process should be characterized by one party having monopoly over areas it has dominance and deny other parties from having access, yet demands to have equal access within areas where other parties have dominance? Otherwise, they start crying wolf and claim democratic malpractice. We need to address this so that we put things into perspective. All the evidence in the public domain highlights Gbadebo's affiliations with other